everyone, and welcome back to Fit Reset. Today is day 13. Yes, lucky 13. And it is lucky because we are spending the whole class today working on our hips. And oh my goodness, after yesterday's HIIT class, I know for sure that I definitely need it. And I'm pretty sure Allie always needs it anyway. To be honest, we all need hip opening yoga anyway, no matter what we do, especially those of us that have a desk job where we're sitting for long periods of time. But anyway, we're gonna do hip opening yoga. We have blocks here because we're in the studio. Now I understand that not everyone at home has a block handy. No problem. The block is really just optional. It's only going to enhance your experience. If you don't have one, it's really no big deal at all. If you have like a textbook or some sort of big book or something like that, or even pillows, you can use that as well. Otherwise, forget it. Imagine like we don't even have our blocks here and move on. With that said, let's get started. We are going to start in a child's pose. And we're gonna do a nice wide open child's pose. So I want you to open out your knees to the width of the mat. So that's how wide it should be. And then try to sit your tushy all the way down onto your heels. And then take a nice big deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly start to inch your fingertips out further, out further, out further. And you can kind of just keep walking them out. We're gonna be here for a little bit of time. So you can kind of really slowly exaggerate that walk out of the fingertips. And then I kind of like to play around with dropping my forearms down, lifting them up, dropping them down and lifting them up, feeling my shoulders open. Now, although in yoga we typically say child's pose is a resting posture, for a lot of people, it does not feel like a resting posture. I totally understand that. Your hips could be screaming in this posture. In fact, mine are definitely barking a little bit here. So just breathe space into it. I always say with yoga, it's so amazing. We can use our breath to heal our body. Sometimes literally, but even if it's just figuratively, thinking as I exhale, sending space down into any parts of my body that are tight. So you take that nice big deep inhale and then exhale, try to soften and come a little bit deeper. So just playing around here, you can even take some movements in this child's pose if you feel like that's gonna help open you out a little bit, relax you a little bit. And we're just gonna stay here for 5 more breaths. Now's a good time to kind of just notice and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? How are my hips feeling right now? And just making a mental note of it. But you can compare to how you feel at the end of the class. You'll ask yourself the same question and see if maybe the answer changed. Yeah, hopefully for the better is right. I definitely hope it's that worse. Nice, everybody. We're going to inhale slow and steady. Just tenth the fingertips to bring your gaze all the way up to look towards your fingertips. And then slowly, we don't want to crank into anything. Start to lift the hips all the way up, round the spine, and locking yourself up to come into a tabletop position. Was that your hip that just cracked? Oh my goodness. You know what? I probably could get away with not saying this, but I literally almost did just say, did your hip crap? Her hip's crapping out already. All right, so we're in a tabletop position. Shoulders in line with the wrists, knees in line with the hips. Let's take a couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, dropping the belly down, looking up. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. more time. Inhale. Exhale, coming back to your flat back position. We're gonna come into what's called hip CARs. A CAR stands for controlled articular rotation. So this is going to just increase your hip extension capacity, which actually helps you fire your glutes during workouts more effectively. So the way that we're gonna do this is we're gonna start on the right side. So you're gonna flex your right foot and then lift your knee all the way up and then just draw your right heel closer in towards your glutes. Now take a moment here, engage the core by drawing your belly in and up. You'll even feel the hips tighten, the glutes tighten a little bit here. Now you're gonna open out that knee out to the side like you're kind of coming into a fire hydrant. Reach the knee all the way in towards the elbow and then drop it back down into the knee. So essentially you're making hip circles here. Now what you want to watch out for here, which I'm kind of doing right now, I'm noticing myself doing, is I'm leaning over to the left slightly. You want to try to avoid that as much as you can. Let's take those circles in the opposite direction. If this is difficult for you, you got to practice these more. If for any other reason, then it's going to help you with your booty workouts. It's going to help you grow your glutes. When your hips are strong, your glutes fire the way they're supposed to during workouts. Good, and let's slowly release that. Just take a minute to sit down on your heels and just shake your wrists out for a second. Kind of let that go. And then we're going to come to do that on the other side. So coming back onto our hands and knees, flexing the left foot, lifting it all the way up, drawing your belly in and up, and then coming to open it all the way out, tapping it over to the left elbow. You'll even feel some side body engagement as you do that, so that's just a little bonus. Let's change the direction of that circle, making sure you're not leaning too much over the right side. And then slowly releasing that all the way back down. All right, from here, we're gonna send the right leg back. We're gonna do another thing that's gonna help you with your hip extension. Extending the right leg all the way back behind you. Take a nice big deep inhale. And then as you exhale, draw the knee all the way in towards the chest, and you're gonna step that foot all the way up in between the hands. Now, I want you to not think of a low lunge where you're leaning all the way into it like this, but you wanna come up so that your hip is right underneath, above your knee, and same thing with your front right foot. Right knee is right above the right ankle. And then you're gonna come up and take your hands on your hips. Now here's the ticket where you're really gonna feel it. I want you to press your pelvis forward. So we're not here, we're going from here to here. So press it forwards, and you should feel the psoas muscles on the left side really start to fire up, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if this is not intense enough for you, which I don't know how it could not be, but if your hips are super open, keep this pelvic tuck and then try to lean into the stretch a little bit more. You're gonna feel it stretch all the way down the leg now. Yeah, it gets into the quad. Breathe it out here. 2 more breaths. Yeah. Exhale to take the hands all the way back down to frame the foot. Bring it back to your tabletop position. Other side. Left leg comes all the way back. Squeeze it all the way in towards the chest. Step it up in between the hands. Knee in line with the ankle. Knee in line with the hip on the right side. Sending it all the way back up. Now I like to take my hands to my hips to do that tuck just so I can really feel my pelvis. So here we go, going from here to here. Ooh, and there's that psoas muscle on the other side. Yeah, it changes it so much. Just a little tuck, you wouldn't realize. Now take a nice big deep breath in. If you feel like you can go a little bit deeper, you can deepen that stretch a little bit on the exhale. Now I know on camera, It doesn't look like much, but you should be feeling it. If for some reason you're not feeling this, you know that I said in a couple videos ago that you guys can always take a picture, take a video of you doing an exercise and send it to us, and we can help give you tips. Good, let's exhale, send the hands all the way down. Send it back into that tabletop. Now this time we're gonna make our way to a downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under and send it all the way back. We'll just have a little yogi playtime here. Take 5 breaths to just do whatever feels good for your body here. So for me, pedaling out my heels, shaking my hips, shaking my head. No right or wrong here. Awesome work. Let's slowly walk our feet all the way up towards the top of the mat. And just hang heavy right here. You can grab opposite elbows. Just let your body hang. Releasing your arms down. We're going to slowly rise our body all the way up. Inhale to raise the arms all the way up overhead. And then exhale, taking your hands all the way down to the hips. Now we're going to keep our right foot exactly where it is, and we're going to take our left leg all the way back into a warrior one. So step your your left foot back on a diagonal angle. Now your hands are on your hips, so you can ensure that you bring the hips to face towards the front. Yeah, come the same side as me. And then take that nice big bend in the knee. Goal is to get your knee at a 90-degree angle, but if you can't get there, no big deal. And then once you have that, you can begin to raise the arms all the way up overhead. We'll just hold this warrior one for a few breaths, making sure that your back toes, even the pinky toes of your left toes, are pressing into the mat. On our next exhale, we're going to open up into a warrior two. So right hand's going to come forwards, left hand's going to come all the way back, and just try to inch your your left foot back even more, and then lean deeper into your right knee. What is with my left and right today? I don't know. Take your hands on your hips and try to move the hips this time towards the side of the room, and then flutter those arms all the way out. Gazing past the middle finger of your right. Relax the shoulders down, away from the ears. Just breathe 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg, kiss the palms of the hands to touch overhead, and then reach your chest towards the front of the room. Spin so that your left heel is in towards your body and your right heel is in towards the left heel. And on your exhale, hands are going to come to heart center, and we're going to bend all the way down into a nice goddess pose. So now for me, I like to kind of just rock and roll a little bit in this. Again, no right or wrong. Awesome work. Now we're going to inhale, coming all the way up. Just raise your arms all the way up overhead. We're headed into that warrior two on the other side. So now we're going to spin to the front, or towards the back of our mat rather. So now our left toes are forwards, and we're going to exhale, open it out into that warrior two. So left foot forwards, right foot back. Making sure the hips are still faced out towards the side. Nice. One more inhale. And exhale, we walk the back toes up slightly. Take our hands on our hips. Shift them forward. So we're transitioning into our warrior one on the other side. front knee still, and then raise the arms all the way up. All toes planted down towards the ground of that back foot. Relax the shoulders, chest is open, breath is flowing. One more nice big deep inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center. We're gonna step our back foot up to meet the front. Now we're at the back of our mat. And I'm just gonna come back to my front of the mat, and I'm gonna grab my block because we're coming into a malasana pose now. So that's a deep yogi squat. So now for me, my hips get very angry with me in a malasana. So I use the block. So I'll show you what it is with the block. Allie, you wanna do it without the block? So look towards Allie if you're looking at how to do that without it. All right, so it's kind of like a mini goddess pose where your heels are slightly in and toes are out. And then you would essentially just sink yourself all the way down, trying to get your butt as low down as you can. So this is my stopping point where I'm gonna take my booty on the block. And then what you can try to do is take the hands to heart center and use the elbows to press into your inner thighs to open them out. Now for me, if I were to do that, because I'm lifted up so high, I start to lean my chest down. So I'm just gonna stay right here, and I'm working on just on my own, opening out those knees. You'll feel the sides of the glutes engage, inner thighs engage, and the groin muscles engage. 2 more breaths right here. All right, so now from here, the transition is we're gonna come to sit down onto our glutes. So if you're in that malasana without the block, you can kind of sit right back down, which Allie will show you. No hands, all the way back down. Now for me, I have the block, so I'm just gonna come up, move my block to the side, and sit my butt down. Very fancy yoga transition right there, I know. All right, so now we're going to work a little bit deeper into our external rotators as well as the glutes. So the way we're gonna start that is coming into, it's called a 90-90 pose. So your right foot's going to be out in front of you first. So 90-degree angle, and then we're gonna send the left leg back 90-degree angle, hence why it is called 90-90. You're creating 2 90-degree angles. So now what I like to do first is just start to walk my hands out right over the right leg. So now the closer that you're able to walk your hands towards your right toes, that's getting deeper into the glutes and those external rotators. And inhale, start to walk it all the way up. Now what we're gonna do next is you're gonna take your left hand to the center line of your legs. And you're gonna wanna keep your left foot planted down towards the ground the whole time. And on our inhale, we're gonna try to open out our left knee and look past our left shoulder. You're gonna feel that inner groin. And then exhale, return it all the way back. Now mine doesn't look so pretty, that's just because my hips are very, very rough. Inhale, exhale. So trying to plant all those down as you bring it down. Chest can open up here. One more time. Awesome work. Same thing other side. You felt that one, Allie? Oh yeah. So let's take our left forwards now and our right leg back. So starting with that nice fold. So walking our hands all the way out. Definitely feel my glutes here. Majorly. Trying to walk those hands closer towards the left toes. And then slowly walking it all the way back up. Here we go. Here's those nasty rotations. Taking your right hand into the center. So now, like you're trying to keep that foot, right foot now planted down, and it's just the right knee that's gonna open up, and you can let your body turn, your torso turn. So here we go. Opening all the way back up, and then bringing it all the way down. Now here the goal is as well, is you don't want the left knee to be coming up as well with that leg. Try to keep planting that down too. So you might even need to kind of press into, yeah, that's what I was gonna do too, Ali, is to press into, not necessarily on the knee, but to press into the left thigh. We'll do that one more time. Nice, bring it all the way back around. Whew. And let's come to take it all the way to the front. Just extend your legs all the way out. You can take as generous bend in the knees as you need to. And then just inhale, rise the arms all the way up. Exhale, hinge from the hips to fold all the way down. Nice hamstring stretch right here. And part of the body that is often neglected. Inhale, slowly start to roll it all the way up. We're going to transition onto our backs from here. So I'm just going to scooch my tush slightly forwards and then slowly lower myself all the way down. Now once I'm down here, I'm going to let my left leg just rest all the way out. I'm gonna hug my right knee in towards my chest, grabbing underneath the knee, not directly on the knee. And just start to kind of open out your right knee towards the right armpit. So you're kind of bringing it out on an angle, you'll feel the hip. And then either your entire right hand or just the 2 peace fingers, your hand's gonna grab the big toe and open out that leg to a half happy baby, and just take your left hand and just press gently onto the top of the left thigh to really make sure that that left hip is not opening out to the side with your leg. Now just start to try to bend into your right elbow to really bring that knee down closer towards the ground. If you have the space, you can even try to straighten that leg out and try to bring the foot closer towards the ground, but again, don't let that left leg pop up, or left hip rather. And if you have it straightened, just re-bend. And then we're gonna come into a figure 4. So you're gonna cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Now, if you're here, that's okay. Goal here would be to take your right hand and just press into the right thigh to try to get that right knee to press down closer towards the ground. Making sure your low back's not popping up off the ground. Just hanging out here for 3 breaths. Actively trying to open out the hip even more. You can always use your inhale to back off slightly, and then exhale to try to open it out more. Making sure that your right foot doesn't come onto your left knee. You don't want to place too much pressure on the joint. And then we'll hug the right knee back in towards the chest. This time, just bring your forehead all the way up to give your right knee a little kiss. And then switch it out. Left knee comes in towards the chest. I almost pushed my coffee out. That would have been disastrous. And then bring your left knee over towards the left armpit. Beautiful stretch. That feels so, so good. Much, much needed. Let's transition into that half happy baby. 2 peace fingers or your entire hand can come to grab into the left toes or the left foot. And just trying to draw that knee down closer towards the ground while the right hip stays pressed down towards the ground. Option to extend that leg straight out. Try to open it out more. You can even try to reach to bring your big toes up towards your face. Big, big stretch. I feel like my inner groin muscles of the left side are about to rip out of me, but that's okay. And exhale, crossing that left ankle over the right thigh. Ooh, I just got a little crack. That felt awesome. And now same thing, just trying to gently exhale, soften the knee closer down towards the ground. Noticing that one side very well may be very different than the other. That's okay. Could be for the worst, it could be for the best, who knows? You always have a good side and a bad side. I always say to my clients, you have a good eyebrow, you have a bad eyebrow that takes forever to draw in. It's the same thing with your hippies. Let's hug that left knee all the way back in towards the chest. Big, big squeeze. And again, we give it that kiss. We gotta give both hip babies a love. And we're gonna slowly release it all the way out to a reclined Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet are together. Now, even if your knees are up to here, that's okay. If you have pillows, this is a great posture to place pillows underneath of your knees. Even if you're nice and open here, it's still a nice sensation to have it. Now make sure that your back is arching, but your low back is just nice and soft into the ground. You can use your hands to maybe gently try to open out the hips even more. Placing the palms either next to you with the palms face up or the palms face down. You can even take your left hand a couple inches underneath your belly button and your right hand to your heart. That feels good. Bringing the heels closer in towards the glutes is going to intensify the stretch. Bringing them further away will lessen the stretch, so you choose what you want. This is actually where we're going to be taking our Shavasana today. If this is really, really too much for you, you can always just transition to a traditional Shavasana. Otherwise, I want you to challenge yourself to stay here for at least 5 breaths. And here's that time where I'm going to ask you again to make that mental note of how do you feel now compared to when you first came down onto the mat? When you first came into that child's pose and I asked you, how do you feel? Well, now we've come to the time where you get to compare how you feel now than to when you first started. I do hope that you guys feel better now and that this helped you a little bit, helped open your hips up a little bit more, even if you didn't realize maybe that your hips did need some extra love. We get back into some intensity tomorrow. So just enjoy these last few moments here of relaxation. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next day of our challenge. Namaste.